Meat! This abomination was the first secret character of the 3D era, and there is assuredly a few things you didn't know about him. Now, we started off with a word from Shang Tsung, and that's very appropriate, because Meat is actually a creation of Shang Tsung. Born in the flesh pits, Meat was an experiment who escaped captivity before he could fully take form. And after achieving his liberation, he went to go work with and assist Shinnok in his plan, and was apparently a very fun guy, according to the Mortal Kombat 4 official strategy guide. That being said, his official debut was in MK4, as more of an Easter egg. To unlock him, you had to defeat all challengers in the group mode, and that had to include every single character on the roster. After that, any character you picked would automatically take the form of Meat, which was just the skinless model that they used for fatality. However, this egg would only last until you reset the game or lost. So anytime you wanted to show off your Meat, you had to redo the whole group mode thing. And lastly, did you know that Meat is technically an MK11? And not just as a tower consumable. In the crypt, there are random blood pools all around the island, and occasionally he will burst out of them and scream at you. This drippy naked wrestler refuses to be forgotten.
As absurd as your request is, I shall grant it.
Smoke. Or you can call him by his real name, Thomas Verbata. Boom! A fact you didn't know right off the bat, because I didn't know that either until I started writing the script. Anyway, this gaseous ninja is one of the sneakiest of them all, and there's probably a few things that you didn't know about him. Smoke made his debut in Mortal Kombat 2, and holds the unique honor of being the only character to be a secret 3 times. In MK2, where he made his debut as just a full-on secret boss. MK3, where you had Cyber Smoke, but if you held a secret code, then you could get Human Smoke. And in Mortal Kombat 9, where you put on Noob Saibot's MK2 outfit, you would get Human Smoke to help you with your fatalities. Now, when you think of Smoke, you usually think of this guy or this guy, but very rarely do people think of this guy. That's because it was really weird and was only playable in Armageddon. The only other time that it was kind of playable was in Deception, as he was part of Noob Smoke. Remember that dynamic duo? You see, as Noob had found Smoke in the bowels of Shao Kahn's fortress in the torture chambers, his cybernetic body was lying there lifeless, until Smoke was able to activate his unspecified nanotechnology, which reshaped his artificial body and turning him into a bad guy from a late 90s anti-smoking PSA. Lastly, we're going to touch on another fan favorite, this being Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. While Liu and Kung took the spotlight of the actual game, Smoke had a nice little starring role in it as a side quest peddler. During the campaign of Shaolin Monks, you could run into and find Smoke, and he would give you smoke missions. If you manage to complete the 5 different missions, in addition to getting a nice little XP boost, you will also unlock Mortal Kombat 2 inside of MK Shaolin Monks. 2 for the price of 1 seems to be a common theme with Smoke for some reason.
This is Cabal!
Cabal! This murderous Sonic the Hedgehog is a fan favorite, but there might be a few things you didn't know about him. Now, this speedy boy was first introduced in MK3 and had one of the worst fatalities ever. His backstory is a little hectic and disjointed, but what is known is at one point in time he was a cop who was horribly disfigured during the attack on Earthrealm from Shao Kahn, after he was burned by the big kitty man himself, Kintaro. That's where he got his scars and his respirator, but where did he get the speed from? Well, it came from his brief time in Outworld, where his body was ravaged by the magic atmosphere and gave him the powers that we know now. Full-on Fantastic Four style. So why is he the only Earthrealmer that went to Outworld and got magic powers? Shut up. Also, the reason that Cabal is a speedy boy is because Ed Boon loves the Flash and wanted to make his own murderous version of him. That's why the Flash also gets so much love in the Injustice games. We don't talk about the movie. Now, talking about iconic parts of the character, his hook swords. Before he got those, he was originally going to have wrist-mounted buzzsaws, but eventually that idea got cut and given to Cyrax. In addition, the idea of hook swords actually predated Cabal, as they were originally going to be given to Baraka before they thought of the arm blades. I think everyone came out on the right end of that hot potato. I want to see your Mortal Kombat pumpkin. You can post it right here with the hashtag CombatOLantern and maybe featured in a future video. Or better yet, you can submit it on the new official Enter the Netherrealm Discord server. Enter the Netherrealm now has an official Discord server you can join for free right now. Link is in my bio. So you any good at carving pumpkins? Well, let me know and show it off, because God knows that I'm not. Speaking of combat kitties, there might be a few things you didn't know about Kintaro. Let's start with his name, Kintaro, often translated as Golden Boy, legendary child, a folk hero in Japanese folklore. But when you look at his lore and how he's treated inside the games and out, you will soon realize the cruel irony of that name. While Kintaro is a Shokan, he's very clearly different from Goro and Shiva. That's because he is a member of the Tigrar lineage, whereas Goro and Shiva are a member of the Draco lineage. Despite being big badass tiger monsters, the Tigrar are actually considered lower class and subservient to the Draco lineage. And to my knowledge, Kintaro is the only named Tigrar in the entire franchise. Now, Kintaro has always gotten the least love from the Mortal Kombat crew, despite being a bit of a cult favorite, and still remains the only of the 3 Shokan combatants to not be playable since Armageddon. Oh, and he also got his freaking head ripped off by a possessed Sonya Blade in the MKX comic. Poor kitty. Scarlet. This glitch turned flesh was a favorite of the MK Underground. There might be a few things that you didn't know about her. In Mortal Kombat 2, a graphical glitch would occasionally cause Kitana's outfit to turn red. So rumors of a secret red ninja called the Lady in Red began to swirl. This is very similar to what happened to Ermac in MK1. Debuting in MK9, Scarlet was a creation of Shao Kahn made out of the blood of fallen warriors to be his personal bodyguard. And through this blood magic, she could absorb the power of her fallen foes, gaining strength with every ounce of blood she drank. However, in MK11, it was retconned that she was just a lowly street urchin that Shao Kahn adopted and taught blood magic to. Overall, I like MK11 Scarlet more, but I really like her backstory in 9 more. Now, as a blood wizard, Scarlet loves blood. Drink it, stab people with it, bathe in it, whatever. And while she can drink lizard blood and blue stuff like it's Coca-Cola, there's one kind of blood that she can't stomach, and that is chitin blood. What's a chitin, you ask? Well, that'd be Devora. That bug bitch just ruins everything. Striker! The top cop, the SWAT swagster. And there may be a few things that you didn't know about him. Striker's had several appearance changes. In fact, radical ones in every game that he's shown up in. From the dumpy white guy with a backwards hat, to Catsuit Man, to SWAT officer. But did you know that one of the creators of Mortal Kombat thought that Striker's appearance was actually going to make him one of the most popular characters in MK3? John Tobias, per the official Mortal Kombat 3 Collector's Guide 1995, stated that he thought that Striker's everyman look would have made him one of the most popular characters in the game. Now, that was obviously not the case, and in fact, a large part of the Mortal Kombat community actually hated Striker for the longest time, so backfired a bit. Now, obviously, Striker was not your ordinary beat cop, and had several high-profile accomplishments on his record, including saving a bus full of passengers from a speeding crosstown bus that was rigged to explode, as well as single-handedly thwarting the terrorists in the infamous Greenberg Tower incident. These accomplishments obviously being references to Speed and Die Hard, respectively. Now, in Mortal Kombat 9, Striker was what some people refer to as a sore winner, as even if you had decided to spare your opponent from a fatality, Striker would still pull a grenade off his belt, pull the pin, and toss it over his shoulder over to where your opponent was laying. However, apparently it's a paint grenade, because no matter who your opponent is, the splatter after the explosion is always red. A strange inconsistency, since all the other fatalities go out of their way to make sure the correct blood color is used depending on who your opponent is. And Striker was the first ever combatant to attempt to ascend the Armageddon Pyramid, decking Mileena like a stack of cards, and giving us probably the best moment in the entire game. Kitana, the princess named after a sword who fights with, of course, bladed fans. And there might be a few facts that you didn't know about her. Now, this beautiful young princess of various realms is the daughter of Sindel and King Jared, before being adopted by Shao Kahn after he killed King Jared during his conquest of the realm. And when I say young, she is very young, at the ripe age of only 10,000 years old. It really makes you wonder how the whole King Jared secret got kept for 10,000 years. Now, Kitana's always been a big kisser. Her first ever fatality, in fact, being the kiss of death, where she'd kiss you on the cheek, and then you would explode. This was her signature way to end her opponents in every appearance that she had from Mortal Kombat 2 all the way up until MK9, where it was for some reason missing. And it stayed gone until Mortal Kombat 11, where it returned in the form of a brutality. This strange fatality was inspired by the death of Mr. Big in the James Bond movie Live and Let Die. And lastly, in the pre-DLC final fight of the Mortal Kombat 11 story mode, if you manage to beat Kronika without losing a single round, you will see Liu Kang going back, forward, and grabbing Kitana out of the time stream to be his companion and Queen of Time. Now, this obviously was not the canon ending, and it really makes you wonder what will Kitana and Liu Kang's relationship be in this new era, if anything. Baraka! From a high-ranking general to a highly regarded merchant. This Project Cotton Warrior has been around since MK2. There might be a few facts that you didn't know about him. Let's start with what exactly is Baraka. He is a Tarkatan. In the new era, a Tarkatan is a person who is afflicted with the Tarkat disease. So it's kind of like being a leper. Whereas prior to the reset, a Tarkatan, or the Tarkatans, were a race of people who resided in Outworld. Simple as that. However, neither of these explanations were how the Tarkatans started. Originally, they were the result of interspecies breeding between humans and demons. So all y'all that are thirsty for Mileena, don't worry, you're not alone, and you weren't the first. Baraka made his debut in Mortal Kombat 2, back when they were still using actual pictures of actual actors for the character sprites. So this made Baraka's appearance, specifically his face, a little bit of a challenge. Instead of trying to claymate him, they went for a slightly simpler approach, a mask. Now, they had originally had a custom mask made for Baraka that looked like this. So obviously they went with a different mask. This one being a Nosferatu mask from a party store nearby with fake fingernails glued around the mouth. Who would have thought that a Party City mask with fake fingernails glued to it would have been the better option? Now, Baraka may be one of the biggest punching bags in all of the realms, but he's one tough-ass punching bag at that. As in between the events of Mortal Kombat 2 and Mortal Kombat 4, Kung Lao fucking cut Baraka in half. Which is why in MK4, Baraka is literally stapled back together. So if you ever wonder why the hell he looked like that, there's your answer. This perturbed Baraka so much that he dropped the first F-bomb ever in the history of Mortal Kombat. And bless his heart, it wouldn't be the last time that he got cut in half by Kung Lao either. Follow for more MK content.